thing back to the city council. We get the good chairs for once. That's okay. I got my own.
Just a whole bunch of problems.
I call the meeting to order.
Let's see, I got everybody present. The only one not here is Jeff Goodman. And I haven't heard from him, so I'll reach out to him and see where he's at. Let's start off with A, discussion and approval of the mandatory septic tank inspection checklist, pump out ordinance to address the infiltration and flow issues along the system. There's several things we need to approve so we can put it on the website and so the public can view it and see it before the public input meeting. First and foremost, y'all should have the updated mandatory septic tank ordinance. Anything in there y'all want to change or anything? I mean, it's pretty much all the changes y'all want to make done in the past 5 meetings are now in there. And anything y'all see you want to change or anything?
The only thing I would make a comment on,
Yep.
is please attach all pictures with address of inspection.
Roy, are we doing the inspection or are we doing the pump out? Y'all want to do both of them?
I'm talking about page 2 of the on-site sewage system inspection checklist.
Okay.
I think the picture, that's fine to attach them to the back, but I think you want electronic.
Yeah, we can, I'll put that in the bid things. You can also see, Willis, are y'all good with those? Do y'all want to approve those? Take some time to look over them. Which one? Both of them, or one of them, whatever you want to do.
I've had some people come up and ask me if they currently have a grease trap, and the new homes don't require a grease trap. Can they take their grease trap out?
No, new homes do require grease trap. There's dual chamber tanks, is what they are now. So it's one tank, but both things are in there. So yeah, it can be a little bit deceiving, but.
We might want to somewhere,
Uh,
we might somewhere want to make a note so that people don't come in and ask the question, maybe in our homeowner, new owner, setting, the older systems have a grease trap, the new one is incorporated into the new tanks.
okay. Yeah, that's the, back in the day, there was a way that they did it, put a small grease trap, put a separate tank, and nowadays, everything else is combined all in one person.
Something I was thinking about, and it may have been discussed, I don't remember, but our folks move out here that won't be here, but they're unaware of the type system we have. And I don't know if there's a way to warn people before they buy a house, if they're looking at the house, or if they're whatever, to let them know, you know, what type of system we're running.
Yeah, so anytime you purchase a house out here, and you go through a realtor, now, if you do it for sale by owner, you go through a realtor involved, it's hard on us to get involved in all that.
Sure.
But when they do the title and all that, I get realtors call me all the time asking about what kind of septic system it is, and they have to put that in there for it to get the insurance and everything else on there. And then when you come in and fill out your paperwork for your new water you turned on, we give you all that information, modified stuff like that.
Right.
Is that what you're referring to, or what are you saying?
Well, I mean, I understood it when I saw it, but not everybody understands what it all means. So I don't know if that's something that needs to be addressed, and, you know, each person needs to better working knowledge of what they're getting into.
So more or less try to come up with a layman's term drawing thing, and maybe do like a mail out to all the residents saying this is what's in your backyard, and this is how our septic system works. This is what we should
Yeah, I don't know if it's needed, I'm just thinking, I was trying to think, the simplest things that might come up,
Okay.
I mean, there may be people living here now that don't know what they have, I don't know.
How about, because we're gonna have a section for the sewer stuff on the website, how about we put the documentation that the new owners get on the website, and then a prospective person, because I just went through this last week. They can just go to the website and download it.
Right. I just didn't know if that was something that anybody thought was logical or could help or.
Yeah.
Our realtor asked if we had a septic tank system or a sewer system. And I said, yes. Okay. And that's a very, very applicable question.
There's a website, I think it was June, there are 2 weeks in June where it's septic week, or septic week.
Right.
They have pamphlets that you can order, that you can do mail out.
Do you know what the website was?
I'll find it.
Find it and email it to me.
Okay. But they have little cards saying you have a septic system, here's what you need to do, it's septic week. And please, candy grease, what, I'll find it again, I'll get it.
Yeah. Okay, real cool.
And I'm gonna use that as my tent pump. I'll use this tool. And I'll be beginning to pick it up. Okay, getting it done. I'll be the first.
Are we voting on each individual
Yeah, I'm
item?
going to run on the individual.
Make a motion, we, send ordinance 2003 to the council.
I say. All those? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous?
Who's second that, Keith?
No.
Tyler.
Okay, next one would be the inspection checklist. And you guys want to see? I mean, this is very well written for the homeowner. Very easy to read.
And we put back there, and you'll see also on the bid credit, the inspector's name. Now, anytime somebody comes out and works on your septic system, you gotta be licensed. Most plumbers, correct me if I'm wrong, most plumbers aren't licensed to work on septic tanks. You can sort of work on the house and all the way out into the clean out, and then you're out of it. Only licensed people that can, carry the TCEQ license for the, is it on-site sewage facility license or something like that? It's,
I don't know, it's a tough one.
yeah.
We
And I know
brought it with-
there's- So there's Lone Star Waste, Ajon, IMC, but the way they work is, I can't remember how it is, they have a head guy that's licensed, but then their installers aren't, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then there's one guy that can do septic tank work that doesn't have a pump out truck. So those are literally like the only 4 people in.
What does Ledford do? Didn't Ricky Ledford, is he an inspector?
He might be, I don't know.
I thought he was a road inspector or
And
something.
he might be, yeah. And there's a certain chapter in the state health manual that says who can work and everything like that. And so that's why we want the inspector's name, make sure they're licensed and everything else. We don't want just some Joe Blow coming out. Plumbers can't do it. He couldn't come out and inspect this and do all the work. He can't do it because Brian Coleman's not accepted.
When the inspection is done, will the homeowner get a copy of one of these?
They'll get a copy and
So you'll have this made up in 3-part.
yeah, probably do like.
The inspector will keep one, the homeowner will get one, and you.
Well, most likely, he'll come out, he'll take this, fill it out, submit it back to us, we'll scan it in, save it electronically, we'll make a copy, get it to the homeowner, and we'll keep a copy.
Okay. Honestly, these, when we don't do a pump out trucks for one, that's, we're out anyway, but these type of septic systems, I don't see why we wouldn't be able to install them, because the whole license for a septic tank is your discharge. Is, you have to test soil, you have to, so you gotta, it's either lateral lines or leach chambers or aerobic, depending on how much the ground will absorb.
Yeah,
And that's what the license is all about.
I know
I don't know.
Dean said you have to have a certain license from TCEQ to have a on-site sewage facility to be able to do it all.
Yeah, probably. We can see if who's pretty much good. We do freeze traps.
Yeah.
It says right here, the TCE authorizes agent must have authorized, for pumping, for waste disposal. TCEQ is the one in charge of that.
Yeah. Correct.
So basically, a plumber, I'm just asking, I'm throwing this up there, a plumber could do this provided he uses a licensed individual to pump it out and dispose of it, is that correct? Then a plumber could do the rest of it?
Plumber, from what Dean explains to me, plumber can only work inside your house after the cleanup. After that, once it goes into the septic tank, it's a whole different,
Okay.
title, different regulation. Am I correct, Jim? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, it's, the plumbing is actually, the septic system is part of the TCEQ, and that changed probably back in the early 90s. I think where plumbers used to be able to put in septic systems, and there was, the health department got involved on some stuff, and the state took it over, that has to go. And it's a whole separate license.
Right.
And it's just like, people say, most plumbers don't get involved with it. It's, you know,
Yeah, I don't know any.
Yeah.
Check them out.
From a technical standpoint, it's doing pretty well.
Yeah, it's all inclusive.
And again, the only change that I recommended was on the second page, where it says please attach all pictures, if they need to either email or something, they need to get them in electronic format also.
Are we doing the initial pump out, or is it the first one, or they do the first one, and we take the,
Well, I offered, because my tank is about to need to be pumped out, that I would need the first person who goes through this.
Yeah, look at that sheet that says y'all should have some bid request. These are what Dean said we should, he recommended, there it is again, the inspector must be licensed and certified by TCEQ, and then the pump truck also has to be licensed and registered with TCEQ. You can't have any old Joe Hook on here pumping in this thing, I mean, it's a big violation. We're also asking, for them to specify what kind of risers they're gonna put on there, so it's the ones that are approved by the state and everything, they can't just, hey, we'll do it, we'll put risers on it, they come out some plastic or whatever.
Are we supplying the risers?
Yeah, and this is, so when we put this out for bid, we'll ask for, a price for these four things. Number one would be everything done, inspection checklist complete, photos taken and submitted electronically, risers installed, and then all tanks pumped. And that way they can do a complete thorough inspection. That'd be, a one hole, that'd be one price. And I think some homes will fit under this if we get everything done. The other two would be the inspection checklist complete, photos taken and submitted electronically, but then some people recently have already had the risers put on their house. And so we wouldn't have to put the risers on there, and then if their tank has been pumped recently, it wouldn't need to be pumped again, so you get a price for that.
So on the website somewhere, is there a list of places that we know are licensed and the ones you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, they're gonna have you can go to TDLR and look up the license.
Got the number right
No,
here.
I'm saying on our Lakeside City website, is there the list of those names that we know are licensed?
Yeah, we do have it on our website of, the people that are licensed to do pump outs.
Okay.
Yeah, that's on the website. And I think it's IMC, Lone Star, and then Ajon.
Have we had any of them look at these forms, to see what they think?
No, I wanted to get it all put together and then send it to them and say, hey, give us a bid. Have everybody that's capable of giving a bid, give a bid, come back and give us a bid for each one of these, and then make the best decision on whatever we would use.
You might be able to get like a discounted contract. Cheaper ones.
Yeah.
They could just do all the buffalo for it.
Yeah, well, I think what we're trying to do, well, here, let's finish this. Number 3 would be the inspection checklist completed to the best of ability that they can. Unable to inspect completely due to, we talked about this last time, the lids being covered or something like that. So then they would just document it and say, hey, this is far as we can go with it. You need to address it there. And then the 4th one would be a price for them to, on stuff like that, where they're buried under a patio and stuff like that. The 4th price we would want is for them to find it and locate it, not to demo it or anything else, but just, hey, right here is where we think it is, using a camera system and everything else. And so those would be the 4 things we would ask for.
You don't want these things broken out and getting a price for all 4. You want an all-inclusive price
No, I want a price for number 1, a price for number 2, a price for number 3, and a price for number 4.
per house.
No, just one price for number 1. So if they show up at my house and I need to put risers, have it pumped out and everything else, they're gonna charge me this price. If they show up at my house and I had it pumped and already have risers, well, they're gonna charge me price number 2. If they show up at my house and they can't get to it, they'll charge me price number 3. And then,
So, but this is a unit, per unit price.
yeah, per unit price.
And you're not asking for a total.
No,
Okay.
because we don't know, I can't tell them how many houses are gonna be number 1, how many houses are gonna be number 2. It's when they show up, we'll have to figure it out. And
There are
this-
some houses out there already have risers installed. So they.
Correct.
So, I'm with you.
So if we come back, we take bids and we have the person that we like, be in the city like, and somebody doesn't want to use that person, they're not obligated to use this individual, right? As long as they can complete the tasks that are.
So like, yeah, that's a great question. So like, say Ajon is the one that comes in that we select. He says, I will come in and I'll do number 1 for $300. I'll come in there, pump it, put all that and everything else, and say, somebody doesn't want to use Ajon, they want to use another one of the licensed people, Lone Star, whoever. Well, if Lone Star says, yeah, I'll do it, but I'm not gonna do it for $300, I'll do it for $350. The city will pay the $300, but they're already committed to, the homeowner would be responsible for the price increase and using another person. Does that make sense?
This is a 4 part.
The homeowner can buy up if he wants to.
Homeowner can buy up, definitely, yeah. Just as long as it's done to the standards that we're asking for. Yeah. If you want to get a contractor from Dallas to come in and do it, pay $200 more power to you. The city's gonna set the baseline of, hey, this is what we're gonna pay. Go from there. Does that make sense? Do y'all feel comfortable with that? Is that okay?
Yeah, but I just want to be sure that it's understood
Yeah.
that nobody's committed to using anybody.
No, you're right.
They
Yeah.
can spend $1,000 they want to.
Mhm.
Number 1 and 2, I think where it says risers, you should say either city supplied or city approved
Yeah.
risers.
Yeah, that's up the top where it says must specify in bid type of risers be installed. So if somebody comes in, yeah, they gotta meet the specs and everything that DCEQ puts out. We're not gonna put something out there that doesn't meet the standards and specs. And so, you know, one company might use Tough Lid, another company might use another name brand, as long as they meet standards and we're happy with them. We don't care what brand it is, just as long as it meets the standards. So that's why in their return bid submittal, they gotta give us, hey, this is the type of lid I'm using, this is how I'm gonna do it.
Have we ever priced how much lids are?
I want to say Lone Star, just talking off the top of my head, I think Lone Star charges like 100, 125 to put 2 lids on, to dig it up and put the lids on. He had that price for us
It was 410 to do everything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just wondering if we have a baseline that we kind of know already.
And so I'm curious to send these out to all the licensed contractors, let them turn it all back in, and see where we go from there. And then, I think what we're trying to do is just sort of get like Scott said, get everybody's thing inspected and see where we're at. Hey, you got a lot of issues out here, and here's where you need to start first. Go from there. But we can't do that until we get something. And now, we would have also, most of these guys pretty busy, and so we'd have to it's probably gonna take 6 to 8 months before we can get every house done. It's not gonna be something that can be done in a month, 2 months. Yeah.
Are we asking for that check valve to be installed in that pump chamber?
No, Sam brought one into me like he has, and he said on most of the green tanks that there's one of those check valves, just like he has, it's installed outside of the green tank on the ladder line. And it looks like that. It's sitting in my office, what it is. It's just a little inline natural thing.
There you go, work though. That's
That's,
the thing with them.
those sewer, they just keep,
They'll
that
sit
sewer
there
gas
and
eats that
lost
stuff
it,
up.
and, or if they float up, they just get stuck.
Yeah. We looked at it, and Kevin and Sam took that thing that he gave us, and we tried, the biggest thing, that thing is pretty big, and once you put it in inside of that green tank, it's real hard to be able to pull if the pump burns up, you gotta pull the pump, that's the hard thing to do. We're trying to,
I suppose we always took it down. Somehow we'll relieve them.
that's what we were thinking about doing, going from whatever, 4.5 to 2, so you can get it there. It's just weird, they fit all different, and the lines come in different. If we had a uniform system, it'd
Yeah.
be great.
Some of them come in like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Some of them like.
So what,
So no, that's not in there.
are you not looking at addressing those check valves that aren't working?
No, we're looking at just capping the lateral lines, and then, or in the inspection, look at it and see, all the ones on the water's edge are supposed to be capped already. Making sure those are capped. If they're not, let them look and see, hey, you got leaks, you need to have this fixed. I mean, I don't wanna put those things in there and then create a big headache for us when we have to go in there and try to change the pumps out. What do you suggest?
No, I'm asking, if we've got a check valve in there that's not working and we're pumping people's yards down and it continues to happen, are we getting anywhere? Are you gonna?
I'm talking about a check valve on the lateral line, back over valve.
Yeah. Check valve on that lateral line that is serving as a emergency overflow,
You're saying.
like it was originally designed, but it's not working to keep stuff from coming back in, as we suspect some of our problem may be. Are we gonna address those?
Yeah. They're supposed to be like in like boxes where they're accessible to, I'll tell you, a 30-year check valve is not going to hold water.
Right, I agree. So you're saying have them also give us a price to
Make sure those
dig
check
those
valves
things up,
are
make sure
working,
they're
because
working?
that's, from what I hear from Shepherd years ago, that's what we're doing. We're pumping people's yards down because that check valve is not working. If we're not gonna address that, we're not gonna stop buying that.
I wonder if you look like a topography map or something and see like low-lying yards that would probably take on water. 'Cause I know like mine's like up and it's on a hill kind of going down to my backyard. Like, so I know water's not getting in mine unless it's coming like all the way back up the island.
Plain dumb question, is there a way for you to put a check valve in there on a slip connection? So if they ever have to pull the pump out, they can just slip it out and be able to get to their pumps?
You could add it in here. It's unscrewed.
Will that interfere with that flow?
Where your bubble, but
I mean, I'm thinking if we're not gonna, we got a lot of folks out here put curbs
Making
around
them
on their
private.
fencing, and their backyard holds water
Yeah.
until it drains down into the pump and the system pumps out. That's been our problem, one of our problems for years.
So let's add that then, inspect check valves And are you saying, inspected on both the septic tanks and the pump chambers and the drain tanks?
It isn't, that seems to be where our problem is. One of our problems.
Check valve's just on the green. And there's just one check valve green,
Just on the drain
on the
tank?
lateral lines.
No, but they moved the lateral lines to the lift station side. That's where the lateral lines are tied in there.
It's in the green.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, so there's only one check valve, and it should be on the outside of that green tank on the lateral line.
That's what,
Yeah.
You're saying address that one?
I think it needs to be. If it's not functioning, if it's just, if it's going both ways, it's, you know, you've got to come in both ways, you got to stop that.
Is it not to inspect that without having to dig up your yard?
That's that's the hard part, is you're gonna have to dig that up.
It's not boxed, it's just buried, it's just buried.
Can you inspect it from where it meets the tank, or do you actually dig it?
You should be able to do it.
I suppose you could run a camera up in there, see if it's down or moves.
I would say,
Because digging up-
include, inspect that
Yard
check
shouldn't be
valve.
an issue.
And that check valve is not working, and
Make a-
put one of those modified, you know, the ones that,
Because if you do my house, I don't have any, because I'm next to the lake, so let's just make another classification for houses that have the lateral lines that the check valves can check.
you either make the check valve that's there work, or you cap it, one or the other.
Would it not be cheaper to cap?
Probably so.
That's,
It'd be cheaper to cap them, it's just that if the pump goes out and it backs up and floods the house.
So all the new pump chambers we're putting in, we're not putting the lateral line on there, but and so to compensate for the lateral line, the overflow being on there, they're putting the red light switch comes on sooner, and it's now an audible one, to where you're gonna call it as soon as it comes on. I mean, it's a pretty loud audible thing. That was our way of getting by with that.
Something else, whoever's doing the inspections, like, needs to look out for, like, drains out in the yard. That,
Oh, yeah.
I see that all the time, people just, where it floods.
Put an area drain in.
And, yeah, and just tie it straight into the sewer line.
Yeah. So like those pictures
Right-
shows you
right
people
around the porch.
right in front of it.
Around a porch or something like that, where it's puddles water,
French drain.
and there's a, well, it's like a French drain, except they tie it into the actual sewer. So it's,
in the olden days, it didn't work.
Everybody's got backyard.
it works really easy. But
So maybe item number
that,
5.
then you're basically shooting all the rainwater down the drain.
With all this check valve talk, so there is not a issue like with code about just capping lateral lines and then making audible alarm adjustments and flow level adjustments.
So we could cap
And
the
that seems
line,
wildly cheaper and a lot less invasive than digging up somebody's yard.
capping the lines and putting the control box on there.
Well, if you cap that, and you go up there, and put a little audible device next to your light that really annoys people, if that will stop, you know, prevent it from backing up in the home, and that's an option. You either use those ladder lines as a backup, or you cap them and you put something up there that, you know, makes it very annoying if they go to ignore.
You can cap it from the inside.
Right, you can cap that from the inside, so.
From a money point of view and a
the
homeowner point of view, it sounds like
audible alarm.
I think they're
a lot better
$130.
idea.
So you'll be $130
Don't quote me on that, I mean,
For that,
that's what it is.
for
For
the.
what?
Just to
audible.
purchase the mechanism and then installation for the new little red light that has the audible alarm in it.
Who needs that?
I guess we'd have to figure that out, discuss it. I mean, I think it'd be one of those things, if that's what we wanted to do, cap all the lateral lines and then have an audible thing.
Because when mine went out, my pump was out and my alarm was out, I got to put a new pump and put a new alarm. I don't know if it's got the audio, I'm sure they all do now, but there's probably a switch in there, you turn on.
Yeah, there's a float switch that kicks it on.
Well, I mean, they can make it either audible or not.
No, the only way you can make the audible turn off is if you kill the breaker. But then then you're on your own. If you kill that thing and you don't call us and it backs up at your house, it's your fault, not ours. Kill the breaker.
But there's a lot of houses you can't see the red lights without going out and.
Yeah, mine's wondering, well, I mean, I never go around over that side of the house to see if that thing's blinking or not.
Yeah.
I notice it if I'm driving by, I have to see some things up there.
But if it's audible, your neighbor will,
Yeah, the neighbor called, we just had one where the neighbor was over on Royal, the neighbor called in and said, hey, their red light's on, it's beeping, can y'all come fix it? And that's what it's designed for, so. Because we get them, I mean, we'll get those calls where, hey, my red light's been on for 3 days, they call us Friday at 4:30, and hey, you know, my red light's been on for 3 days, can y'all come look at it? We're like, okay. But if that thing's beeping, I think they're calling.
Big, big, in the middle of the night, they can call and give you a message on your, and you'll be there the next morning and check it out.
Yeah. So y'all want a price for capping it and putting a audible alarm on it?
Yeah.
is the audible alarm something Sam can do, or is that electrician? He does.
Well, the electricity's already there, you're just switching it out, it's just a new box.
But if you're building a new house, you're putting it in.
No,
Does the city put the green
no, the license electrician right there.
Are you having to change out the whole light, or you just put the
No, it's a whole
on?
new gray box that goes up there. So right now, you got a little gray box with the red light, and we're taking that whole thing off and putting a whole new thing in there, because it's a little bit bigger, because it has that siren and everything else in there.
You know, they make like combo boxes that do both too,
That what?
that lights up and siren.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
It's a combo box. So we just take the whole thing off and put the new one in. And I'll look and see if we can just change the guts out. Maybe you can leave the box on there and change it, pull the break out and something like that.
Technically, you can put a sound device that's 110 volt and tie it into where the bulb comes out. That'd be a whole lot cheaper.
Yeah.
I'll look for some prices on that.
Are you, I missed that, are you talking about doing a little piggyback on the
Yeah.
alarm, it'll come on when the light?
When the light comes on, it hits that switch,
Yeah,
turn the light on, and we'll find some kind of a squawk box
yeah.
that's 110 volt.
At our next meeting, I'll have Jeff bring one and we'll put them in all the new ones.
It's in my service truck, it's only, it's 110 volts.
You don't have that light and blinks, that thing beeps.
But I think that's cheaper than
That's pretty cheap to me.
have an electrician come in and replace everything.
Anything else on these bid requests?
Did we discuss, and I know we did, but I'm trying to remember how it worked. If they are unable to find access points or lids, are we having the homeowners pay for that part?
That was one of those things, we were gonna get a tally of all the homes in there and see how bad that list is. There's a lot of them. Then we would have to come back and that'd be a whole nother meeting on top of that. Well, how do we address these? This is more or less just to get every home in Lakeside City spec, inspect it and say, here's where you're at. And then go from there. I think there's, a lot of bridges we'll have to cross as we go.
Only thing we said was homeowners would have to give us access, or have to have access to it.
Yeah.
That's how we worded it.
What else?
Well, we're not ready to vote on this then, are we? Yeah. Are we ready to vote on this with
Yeah,
that?
all I did was just at number 5, cap lateral lines on green tank and install audible alarm. And then we'll figure out what's the best audible alarm to put on there.
So we need to vote on these two items right here, that vote on.
Yep.
Make a motion.
guess I'd make a motion that we approve the inspection checklist.
I'll second it.
With the modification.
With modifications.
And then we need the same thing for the bid request.
I'll make a motion for the bid request, to approve the bid request.
And then the last thing we need to approve is the Scott's flow chart that we're going to put on the website.
I will make the following changes, because we have some pricing from the city engineer to change the flow chart to reflect what the numbers are that came from the city engineer. So right now it just says, we're looking for prices. So I'd like to make that.
Are we taking the permit out of this equation? Are we taking the permit out of this equation on the homeowner's part if the city moves to this, rate increase and that eliminate that permit?
What's the permit under INI water? On the sixth step down, you got permit.
Didn't we talk about if we go to a rate increase on the sewer that we'd have to take, eliminate that permit?
Right. That's the reason why it goes two different directions.
Oh, it goes around, I'm sorry.
One is city picks up cost, the other one is homeowner picks up cost.
Okay, I'm with you.
There should probably be some clarification on that permit about what that permit's for.
I think it's pretty good. It was a hard thing to name in an inch. So we'll just get rid of it, now we have some answers.
So based upon those changes, y'all want to go ahead and approve it, and then Scott makes the changes necessary?
Motion approved.
I'll second.
Okay, so those things are out of the way. The next thing is, y'all want update of information from city engineer. Dean sent this over at 4:45. He stamped it, put his thing on it. These are some of the stuff he came up with. You can sort of read that yourself. It does include the cost of contingency, 15% contingency, and also 50% engineering, inspection, and testing. All of these do. He says now currently refining the estimated costs and expected to adjust them in the next few days as more information is to come. Projects 3 and 4 would involve eventual draining and disposal of the sludge from the 3 current lagoons, 1, 2, and 3. And then the 4th lagoon would be converted into an equalization basin so that more constant flow could be delivered to the treatment plant. You can see when we get to the package plant, it's a little bit higher than what we first discussed. That's only because he's coming from, got the estimate from a manufacturer representative from Texas. That's not the one, Kevin Chafee. And so on the 17th, there was a correspondence email between Dean and Kevin asking Kevin to submit his stuff so Dean can have a better apples to apple comparison. And so Kevin is still in the process of getting that stuff to Dean. So I would expect that comes down quite significantly.
I would hope so. So, I mean, with all these, we still need to factor in maintenance, replacement costs, down the road.
Yes.
And those items, those costs considered in. I mean, we know what it's gonna cost to send Wichita Falls. We kind of guesstimate at this point what they're gonna charge to take it, but we don't know what it's gonna cost in the future.
Right.
Or if they're gonna take 100% of it.
Right.
Because they came back after the first hoorah, and said we're only, 45,000 gallons a day they were gonna take. They wouldn't take a heavy rain or a.
Right, that was 2015.
They would only take how much, limit us to how
They
much
would
we send.
limit us to our average daily, but they would not take, if we had a 5-inch belly washer, they would not take the INI water.
So we still have to maintain our legal system and our discharge permit and all of that equipment.
We're not.
That was in 2015. That
I'm
other,
gonna say in that situation, if they said they would.
correct. Any questions about any of that?
And we're still on track to what I believe the city council is gonna want next month.
So this,
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
this public input meeting, have we
Oh.
talked about this?
Yeah, that's the next agenda.
That's the next item.
I didn't know you were going to let you have a question regarding this. Any questions on Dean's proposals for cost estimates? Keep in mind, these are engineering, this stuff, and these are pretty preliminary, very early in the stage. Once you decide which way we want to go, we can really get it down to more of a closer number, stuff like that. In my opinion, and this is just my opinion, I still think the best option is coming back with Pat explained from Kevin, getting those concrete numbers and getting that here and running with that. That's just my opinion.
I agree. And I may be out of order, but I'd like to ask the councilman, is this the stuff that you're wanting us to give you for next month?
That's exactly what I'd like to see.
Okay.
I want to see it for your own. As hard as you can do it.
Okay, I guess we're on to go.
I mean, I don't mind putting these out there, just still find it, it's just these are real preliminary, I don't want people jumping the gun.
I think that would cause a panic.
Yeah. I do too.
Because it will either take us roasting out of context, it'll get plastered all over everything.
Yeah.
And it'll be, before you know it, it'll be, these guys are trying to spend almost $3 million, and it'll be a big to-do.
I agree.
I think we
So
just have
you
to
would go to the city
be
council.
a lot more responsible.
Yeah.
I did have an email which I forwarded to Eric from Kathy Chaddick, who did the grants for Lake Wichita and several other nonprofits. And she has found some grants that we would fit into, and would like to have a meeting. I don't know if you want her to come here and talk, or if you want Larry and I to sit down and meet with her offline, and then have her come in. But she's already done some legwork and has found some grants for us to fit into.
I think it'd be good if y'all talk to her first.
Okay.
We have, multiple companies bidding on this package plant,
I guess.
to just make sure, you know, keep.
Yeah, no, once we get all the information, it goes into a public, where all the contractors see it and bid on it and everything else. So you'll have a lot of people you've never heard of come back and bid, put in for it.
It'll probably go to Dodge.
Specs.
Yeah. It'll probably go to Dodge reports. It'll get transmitted all over the country.
Last thing was,
Lots of people wanting to buy us dinner.
This is just a guess, based off of other,
Engineering.
what other cities are doing.
or what Dean, based upon, engineers have a formula for everything, and they put in there, and they put it, and it comes up, and this is how they do it. Yeah, the public input meeting, let's schedule that. When, where,
Before we say when and where, we probably need to take 5 minutes and talk about what we're gonna be talking about to the public. Because we're going to be probably barraged with questions, and we need to be transparent to the public, but we also don't need to put our foot in our mouth and bite down hard. So we, right,
I'll be dead the prices first.
yeah. So why don't we say maybe our meeting the second week of August? That would be 2.5 weeks. Okay.
schedule a preliminary one for, second week in August, that'd be like the 3rd to the 7th.
Right.
Would that give us time to get some closer numbers?
Yeah.
That we can be more comfortable with?
Right.
Y'all want to tentatively schedule it for Tuesday, August the 4th? Huh?
I thought that was the first week in August.
Yeah, you're right. So, August 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th is the second week in August. I apologize.
I just don't think we'll be ready for the first week in August.
So what's Tuesday that week?
Tuesday, August the 11th. Tentatively schedule it then. Host it here.
Sure.
And then obviously we can stream it on YouTube. Live now, are y'all like, want to also have a Zoom meeting so people can also input remotely, or everybody come to the meeting?
I would really like to have the people ask their questions in person, so you can look at them. But it's up to them. You want to have it where people can virtually. Could they email their questions?
If y'all want to take email submittals? Sure. All the way up until then?
Yeah, and then if they have something, they can come in person.
I think most of the questions will be the terminology and what we're using. And then it's gonna be dollars. You know, what are we gonna do and how much it's gonna cost?
Either one of y'all need to go, Keith?
I'm gonna go ahead and go.
I think do those.
Thanks, Keith.
We're gonna start a meeting.
So I said, at least they don't have far to go.
Yeah. Say that again, Larry, I'm sorry.
I said I believe most of the questions will be terminology, what are we talking about, and septic tanks and everything, then it will comes down to cost. By having more time to get our costs more refined, we can better answer a lot more questions with the citizens.
Yes.
Because the people I've talked to, they don't, first thing comes out of my mouth, well, how much is that gonna cost? And, you know, why is it such a big problem?
Okay. And there's a lot of this stuff that I've already submitted to our web designer to put on the page. But now there's some more things we're gonna add, and, you know, term glossary that, Scott gave us on terms is gonna be on there too. What else? Anything else?
If they do talk about funding about it, and it's like any other funding that's going on right now, October is the end of the federal budget, so we're looking, really, our funding is not gonna be available for 2022.
Yeah.
Because already now the submissions for 2021 have already been submitted. And So we're looking at, once we get a proposal, we have to look at that time frame. We're not looking at, we're gonna do it next year, we're looking at 2022, really,
Right.
for grants and money applications. So I just want everybody to be on that knowledge.
And we're gonna meet with Kathy, you and I will meet with Kathy and see what,
Well, like this grant money right here, the Texas Clean Water Revolving Fund, is for constructing, wastewater and stormwater infrastructure. And, it has over $500 million in money available. But we have to make a proposal and send it to them. And it's priority driven. So if you got somebody that's leaking sewer into the lake, they're gonna have a more priority than we are.
Correct.
So I just want everybody to have that frame of mind. This is not gonna be a quick money thing. Somebody's just gonna write us a check. We're looking long-term here.
Yeah, you're correct. Which I found there, I had an email, there's some class, that exact thing, is put on in August. I'll find it and I'll send it to y'all. Like, be good for one of y'all, a couple of y'all to go down there to the class, it's all about Texas Water Development Board, which I have a 2-day class down there, and it's all about grant funding and stuff like that.
Right. I saw that.
Okay.
It's on a Saturday or something like that.
Yeah. Good. What else? Anything else?
Is that one of the green riders we've been talking about?
Yeah, that's one right there. Didn't think about that. Yep. Somebody will make a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Don't just take long.
I'll get you that, I'll get you that website out there. Because it was, I couldn't believe it was the second week. Whoever's gonna die.
Right.
following in the morning,
You want me to,